Hey everyone, welcome to our discussion where we'll be talking about boosting growth on TikTok with ad creatives. I'm Joshua Tong, marketing coordinator at NativeX, and I'm here with the one and only CK Wang, co-founder and CEO of Kooapps. So a little more about Kooapps. Kooapps is a top mobile gaming studio and publisher. They have over 250 million downloads across a portfolio of games, including some of the world's top puzzle, word, and hypercasual games like Stacky Bird and Snake.io. So I'll pass it along to CK to introduce himself a bit more on like who he is and what he does.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, pleasure being here. Thank you so much for the invite. Yeah, so again, my name's CK. I'm co-founder and CEO of our studio called Kooapps. We make hyper-casual games that we then add in mid-core and hardcore elements for much better long-term retention. And our top-selling title is Snake.io. It is what you think. It's an IO game that is a snake core mechanic. And fortunately, in December, we hit 350 million downloads. And so really thank our entire team for all of the hard work. Yeah, and so we really enjoy making games. We're games first, game design first studio, yeah, and we're really fortunate to have some of our IPs that have been growing steadily over time. So yeah, again, pleasure being here.
Yeah, congrats on hitting that milestone this past year. Kind of just jumping right in, I wanted to ask, what is Kooapps' current approach to UA?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. We're self-funded indie studio, and so we're very careful with how we do UA, and we're very performance driven. We don't really have any sort of brand campaigns. All of our campaigns are ROAS driven, LTV driven, retention driven, and we look at all the numbers very closely, and we want to make sure we have good payback cycles. I know some larger studios will do, let's say, 1 to 2 year payback cycles. Our payback cycle is actually more like 6 months, 4 to 6 months. And so we're very careful and thoughtful on how we spend, and we want to make sure all of our campaigns hit our ROAS targets, even if that means that in certain cases scale is on the lower end. We're willing to trade that off and make sure that the numbers back up for us.
And for your UA, where does TikTok fit in that?
Yeah. TikTok is one of our most exciting UA because the amount of creativity that it enables. And so TikTok is very fun to work on. The content that we create, especially with our influencers, have been very exciting. TikTok has a creator marketplace that has made it very easy for us to find and work with influencers. Typically with the likes of Facebook or Instagram or other social networks, if we were to message or like DM a influencer directly or email them, a lot of times they would ignore us, thinking that it's spam and thinking that it's a spam or a scam. It's like, what? Like, I'm getting paid to just make a video? Like, this must be a scam. But it's not. It's influencer marketing, and so the TikTok creator marketplace makes that officially very easy and also very trustworthy. And so we've seen response rates to our outreach to influencers be dramatically higher. I'd say 2 to 3x higher on TikTok, and so that's been able to help us easily work with influencers and create amazing videos that are both authentic and local to each of the countries that we care about. And so TikTok is truly unique in that sense, and then also truly unique on the audio side, which I also have an example later on, where there's really not another social network or another channel where most people have audio on by default, and so that enables a couple of interesting types of creatives that you can run in TikTok but nowhere else. So TikTok is truly unique. They have a lot of scale, of course, but on top of that scale they have the influencer side and then the audio side that truly makes sort of UA on TikTok, a little bit challenging, to be honest, because the amount of creativity that you need to create, something that catches people's attention, but also is an opportunity and a lot of fun.
Yeah, TikTok definitely changed the game for marketing a lot. Kind of be creative and uh, where you are and kind of be creative depending on where you're trying to hit. So speaking of like target markets, uh, where do you find success the most in? Like, what are your target markets? And within those target markets, how does TikTok perform and how does it perform against other platforms and channels such as like Facebook or in-app campaigns?
Sure, yeah, yeah. For us, our top geos on TikTok is US and Saudi Arabia. It has to do with top geos of our game specifically with Snake. Snake is very, very popular in the US, but actually also in US it would not be a surprise to anybody, but Saudi Arabia is actually our number two revenue geo, and so that was a surprise even to our own team actually. And so we're pretty focused on those two geos, trying to create local content, content that resonates, that is authentic with the TikTok community. And that's I'd say a little bit different with Facebook, where Facebook and it's sort of Instagram and all the other properties. On the influencer side, it's hard to reach out and get responses from influencers. It's hard to they don't currently have something called Spark Ads, which TikTok has, that works really, really well, where when you have an influencer create a video for you and post it, you can actually spark their ad on their account. And so they actually end up collecting the followers. And we've seen this as a big win-win for both sides. And so a lot of the influencers we work with, because we're not VC funded and all of that, our budgets on influencer video posts are by default kind of low. However, they're still willing to work with us because they know that they're going to win more followers, and they're going to be able to build up their following as well. And so the influencers that we've worked with for long periods of time, because they actually see it as a win-win because of that Spark ad feature that TikTok has created, that has made that has enabled this. And so yeah, again, we're very excited about TikTok, and it's a very unique channel for us.
Yeah, you talk a lot about like influencers and a little about Spark ads. So I wanted to ask about what you found. It could be those two, like what kind of ad formats you found with the most success, and if you could provide some examples for that.
Yeah, sure. Let me share screen. Um, yeah, so here's a slow-mo video that is like default for all of our games. The game is rather fast, especially if you use the power up, and so we just slow it down. And so it's a standard gameplay video. It has our in-game music, nothing special. This is the creative that we run on all of the all of our channels, Usual Suspects, Minigrill, AppLovin, Iron Source, Unity, all of the usual suspects will run this video, Facebook, Google, and such. We also run that video on TikTok, but what we've seen actually be much more successful is actually creatives like this. We actually got our lowest CPI with this creative. Unfortunately, I'm not sure the screen recording also captures the video, captures the audio. But Michael here is an influencer that we work with when we ran the Ninja live event for Snake. I think this was April or May last year. And he, as you can see, he dressed up, cosplayed, and then again, because the audio is not coming through, he's actually very, very excited, very animated, just like, a joy to watch him play and share with his followers how excited he is to play this game. And that we've seen dramatically improves our IPMs and therefore CPIs. And honestly, like the actual video itself, it's like he's shaking and all of that. And so you would think that, like, it's like, oh, this is like, not well done, it's shaking, and like sometimes you can't see it. So but what we've seen actually is with the TikTok audience, this is very endearing, right? They know this is not like a high production video. They know this is authentic, and that's really what the TikTok audience. This is what really resonates with them is that excitement, is that like sort of unpolished parts, and then yet endearing parts. Another one that does really well that we that I alluded to earlier, and unfortunately, this one is you're not going to if the audio doesn't come through. Like, actually, does it? Okay, yeah, I don't think it came through. So, unfortunately, this one you're not going to be able to tell why this is special. This one is really special because the audio track. So this also an influencer video. This lady, this girl, actually plays Snake, but then she ends up having an audio track that has nothing to do with Snake, and so this lady ends up talking about like she has like a rhymes like, oh, I went home one day, like I saw the cops there, what's going on, like and so it really captures your attention, because that's not what you're expecting, right? When you see this ad, you're like, oh, okay. And so a lot of people will get like banner blindness. It's kind of like when you go to Google search and then there's ads at the top, ads on the right side, you kind of by default ignore it and you scroll down. This one, because TikTok has audio on by default for most users, they're watching the video, they want to hear it. When they see this type of ad, they go like, oh, okay. But then when they hear the audio track, they go, oh, wait, what? Wait, what's going on? And it really captures their attention. And so, again, another ad that is truly unique. So this one with Michael, the influencer with the ninja cosplay. Both of these ads are again, truly unique that TikTok enables us that like no other channel you could really achieve because the amount of people that have audio enabled, and then the amount of people that have that are there to watch people like perform, right? And that's exactly what cosplay is. And so these are the two creatives that we've seen that have done really well. And we had a few months of like all-time low CPIs on TikTok because of those two creatives.
Yeah, with TikTok, there's just so many like millions of different ways that you can really utilize it and make the most effective use out of it. I know NativeX had a few past examples where we really were successful with like branded hashtag challenges. But yeah, so for your creative approach for TikTok, um, how does it differ from like other UA?
Yeah, definitely. The part that is the same is a volume play. We got to test a lot. We don't know which ones are the winners. It's a lot of testing and a lot of like brainstorming, testing, and learning, and just like watching what other ads work. The part that is again unique, I would say, is the influencer side, the part about being able to spark other people's videos and creating like a long-term partnership, and then also the audio side. So I would say those three parts, are definitely the places that are different. I think that combination, like you said, there's really millions of different ways to create creatives, and I think that's for sure true with TikTok. So it's a lot of fun for our team for sure. Really stretches their creativity and everything that they can do. And of course, it's also a challenge on like, hey, what works feels very trendy, so every few months we need a new video, and then also for each of the different geos we also need like a different video, which is why currently we work with NativeX's team on TikTok as well. It's been very helpful, but we haven't scaled out to all the normal geos that we typically would scale out in other channels. Like typically other channels will bid on like 150 geos, we'll do UA on all of them, but on TikTok we're still on 2 or 3 geos, and it's really a testament to how authentic your content has to be, your creative has to be, and that it only lasts for a few months. And so on the creative side, it's definitely a bigger effort and therefore challenge because of that, but also a bigger opportunity, and a lot of fun. And so it's definitely very different from other channels.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's like a lot of different you have to make so many different kinds of ads and see what works, see what doesn't. A little bit about like testing and working with different videos and different geos. So I wanted to see or ask what is your testing strategy, and like what kind of insights did you get from those tests? Like what works and what doesn't?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say, testing a lot of things. I'd say like color is very important. and then the contrast and having it stand out like that. We test a lot of things, I or test a lot of variants, and then also like in terms of like the current trending content, like let's say if on Twitter like it like Shiba Inus are trending, then like posting like a video with more Shiba Inus, and we actually have a Shiba Inu character in our game. Posting that like will then have higher likelihood of success. And so yeah, it's a it's very trending. It's very local. It's very influencer driven, and then again audio that I can't stress enough of. It's truly different and unique. I think even for our gameplay videos, if we test like just the gameplay video and no audio, it's almost like yeah, the user's like not used to it because like there's like audio and there's like no audio, and then yeah, they tend to skip it and things like that. Yeah, and so yeah, definitely, yeah, lots of different testing, but I'd say color, content in terms of trending, color in terms of catching people's attention, but of course then there's other ways to catch people's attentions like cosplay and sound and voiceover and such. So
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different things to take into consideration when you're testing and just trying to find the best optimal strategy or creative. So for the you mentioned a little bit about, or I can see that TikTok has given like you and your team lots of success. And do you think the campaigns have been performing well? Like, is it above expectations, or are there maybe any pain points that needs to be addressed?
yeah. I would say the biggest pain point is for sure like the length of when we find a really good creative, how long it lasts.
Mhm.
And we've generally seen that on the much shorter end versus other channels. Like other channels, like we can run the same creative, not that we want to or we plan to,
Mhm.
but we can run creatives, and it doing well for like a whole year or 2 years. Like we've seen creatives that last a long time. But with TikTok, I think the longest we've been able to run a successful creative has been like really a few months, like maybe 2, 3, 4 months. And so that I would say is generally like the biggest yeah, again, the biggest challenge, but also the biggest opportunity. If other companies also have to create, if their creatives don't last too long as well, that gives us an opening for our creatives to do well. So yeah, again, it's yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but also an opportunity. But yeah, but I'd say the hardest part is really the longevity of each of the creatives because of how authentic and how trending TikTok is. Yeah, and how local actually TikTok is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Kind of just to circle back a little bit on when you talked a lot about influencers or creators, and it seems like it's been making like a difference for Kooapps.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
can you talk a little bit more about like how how it how much of a difference it made compared to like other UA?
Yeah. I would say other UA is a little bit hard to compare because none of them have
Yeah.
influencers and none of them make it this easy to work with them.
Mm.
So for purely comparing the influencer part, I think TikTok is truly unique. There's not like another channel where you could even get close in terms of the traction and the ease of contacting and working with influencers. In terms of like the performance of the campaigns, influencer versus non-influencer on other channels, like I would say, really is it's a lot of fun. It's very special, very memorable, and actually because of that, we see that the retention of the users that we get from TikTok is all-time high. It's higher than any other channel that we've ever used, and it's like dramatically higher. It's not just like a little bit higher
Uh,
than other channels. Like we've seen it be like 20% higher in retention than other channels, and so that part is very special, and that part we're super excited and continue to invest on TikTok, even if it's like a big creative effort and all of that. The users that we get are of the highest quality, and so yeah, that's again truly something unique with TikTok because of the authenticity and the influencers that we work with. That we're seeing that the retention of these users have been dramatically higher than other channels.
Yeah, so there you have it. That kind of wraps up my questions I have for you. Thank you again so much for being here and chiming in. Do you have maybe any closing comments or anything you want to say?
No, yeah, it's been great working with NativeX to help us navigate TikTok as a channel, and it's definitely not easy because of the fast pace culture of TikTok users and the amount of creativity, creative freedom that you can have on TikTok, but yeah, but we're again, we're super duper excited. It's very special. The users that we get are definitely the highest quality, and so yeah, definitely working with a company like NativeX has been able to help us navigate all of that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. TikTok can definitely be like exciting but daunting at the same time with like the amount of possibilities. So if you want to learn more about TikTok, NativeX is an official TikTok marketing partner. So check out our website where you can find our TikTok success stories, our TikTok ebook guide, and more that I'll link below. So thanks for tuning in.